How many population and ethnic background at this place? China, Philippines, Korea, and Japan.
We have about 82,000 people in Buena Park, and a little less than 40% are considered Hispanic or Latino. So they might have been born here, but maybe their ancestors were from Mexico or any of the Latin American countries. And then we have about 26% is from Asia, all the Asian countries. So that includes India. I taught here in Buena Park, so I had some students from Bangladesh, from Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, and China, and then Korea and Japan. Probably about 10 to 12% of our population are Koreans.
It's increasing?
I think we are increasing the Korean population because we have a lot of Korean businesses that have come here to Buena Park in the last 8 to 10 years. Now, the business owners that are Korean, they don't necessarily live in Buena Park. Our city next door to us, Fullerton, there's a large and growing Korean population over there, but they've started businesses over here. So, but 10 to 12% Korean residents. It started when one of our city council members was asked to bring it up, and a Korean group came to him. He is Korean. He was born in Korea. He came to the United States when he was 19. But his name is Miller O. And on our city council, if one council member wants to discuss an issue, he just asks for it to be put on the agenda. And then the following meeting, we discuss it. And so as long as one wants to discuss it, we do. And other cities require 2 or 3 people to request it, but that's not our practice. So he brought it up, asked for it to be put on, and so we put it on our agenda. At the meeting where we discussed it, it was the second meeting in July, and you can go online and actually see the discussion. There that night were several Korean American people who came to speak in favor of it. And I believe just one Japanese American person came to speak opposed to it. But in the meantime, the word had gotten out to the Japanese people both here and in Japan, and we started getting letters. And we've gotten lots and lots of letters. Of course, they were saying they're opposed to having the monument here, that they feel that it is inappropriate for a little city to weigh in on an international issue. And I have to say I agree with that. So we have gotten some, but not nearly as many. We've gotten, I'm sure, less than 100.
100?
Less than.
Okay.
But for the Japanese, we've gotten, I think the city clerk told us 1,200 people signed a petition, so we got all those 1,200 names plus emails, hundreds of emails. So probably all told, close to 3,000 people. So it seems like the Japanese contingency is well organized in and making sure we know their opposition.
I see. How about Korean people reaction? Because you said no.
Right. We've said we're not interested in having the monument in a public place. Now, see, the issue really is using public land. Because if some of these Korean businesses wanted to put it in front of their business, no problem. They could easily do that. It's their own private property.
I see.
The issue more to me was they wanted it on city property. So when it's on city property, we have to have a good reason to allow it to be put there. And so, anyway, I just didn't feel it was proper. But They disagreed. We got a couple of emails, very few, saying they wished we would change our mind and go ahead and allow it. And then Mr. O brought up having a proclamation rather than a monument, but we've decided we're not going to weigh in on the issue. It's for international arbitrators to negotiate something. It's not up to us. I was going to go there and look at it, and I know that they have put it in one of their public parks. If that's what their city council decided, you know, more power to them. I'm not going to make a decision for Glendale, and Glendale's not going to make a decision for Buena Park, but we've decided for ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, the group who wanted to put this in said that it was for educational purpose. And my remarks the night we discussed it, I said, if it's really for education, there's a better way to do it. I was a teacher. I said, if you really want to educate people, have some teachers make up some lesson plans having to do with this subject, and then have a pilot in a school where they give the lessons, they see how the students react, and then if it's a good result, then you spread the word that way and have other teachers share the lesson. And if it wasn't so good, you refine the lesson and try again. But the issue of human trafficking and sex trafficking, that didn't stop with the war. It's going on right now.
Yes.
And anybody can go on to the United States Department of State website, and you can type in the little search bar, human trafficking or sex trafficking, and there's all kinds of papers and information on current things that are happening. So it really would be quite an exciting topic for high schoolers to get involved in.
Yeah.
And they could hear the lessons of the past. They could see that it's a current issue and a current problem. And then they could write their legislatures. They could do other things to have an impact today on this topic.
Yeah.
And then you are starting to educate people. And then it's not just a dry topic from long ago. It's right now. And it could be a powerful lesson.
Yeah.
But a statue, a monument, doesn't have, to me, that much of an impact. And there seems to be more of a purpose than just education. There's some other purpose. And as I told the other young woman from Japan the other day, if they truly wanted it as just an educational thing, then they would put it down there, just north here, about a mile. There's the cross of two busy streets, Beach Boulevard and Malvern, very busy. And all four corners are Korean businesses. They could easily put that there, have a wonderful display, you know, plant some plants around it, get a real attention-getting item. And because they haven't chosen to do that in one of those four corners, that makes me think that there's more going on than just an educational purpose. So something is being lost in translation. I don't speak Korean or Japanese.
Yeah.
I don't fully understand the dispute between the two countries, although I know the historical problems that have existed, because I did teach world history. But they want it here on city property for a reason, and I don't fully understand what the reason is. So it's just best if we keep hands off. I taught at Buena Park High School, and at that school, we have kids who speak 25 different languages. We have kids from more than that number of countries that have come. Probably 30 countries. It's quite, it's like a United Nations there. So we don't need things to divide us. We need things to unite us there. And if you have things that divide you into groups, we have enough of that. It happens naturally. we need things to help us understand each other and get along. And if you have differences, that's fine, but we don't act out on those. We don't bully people. We don't cause problems just because of something that happened in the past. That can happen other places, but not here. So here we're trying to build peaceful, harmonious relationships.
Yeah.
Well, I think your people did a great job here in Buena Park. They let their views be heard. They wrote some statements that it contained factual information, and you share the facts and then let people decide. And of course you say how you would like it to be. The letters and emails that I got, some were obviously mass produced and people just signed their names, and I would read one or two and I could see it said the same thing. So those I went through pretty quickly. The ones that were more individualistically written, I did tend to read those more thoroughly.
Thank you.
But and some of them I chose to respond to. Most of them I didn't because I got so many. But anyway, I think you've done a very good job. State the facts, and then state your opinion of the facts. But state the facts first. This happened, this, and this.
Yes.
And we don't believe you should be involved for this reason. And I thought it was very effective.
Yeah. Thank you.
And your secretary, not secretary, your counsel general came to see us.
Yes.
And he gave us some factual information also. And anyway, I appreciated the time he took to come and visit with us. It was very helpful. For the reason they wanted it, well, they said the purpose, as I said before, was educational, to educate people about what happened during World War II. And they did say it wasn't just Korean women, that it was other women in other countries, the Philippines, Indonesia, and other places, and the abuses that took place. So, wars are terrible things, and lots of really horrific things happened during that last war. We don't need to refight World War II. World War II was fought a long time ago, and terrible things happen in war, and we don't want terrible things to continue. So we want to move on in a very positive way, and I appreciate the letters that came and the factual information to help us understand the issue. And the more I understood the issue, the more I understood it wasn't for a city in California to take action on. So that's what we decided for our city, and we wish the Japanese people well. We wish the Korean people well. I've had students, as a high school teacher, I had students from Japan, I had students from Korea, and I would never want to take one side over the other, because when I studied that issue, I pictured my student from Japan, Miyoshi is her first name, and when I thought of the Korean side, I thought of some of my Korean students, and I wasn't going to choose one side or the other. It's not my place to do that. So as I say, we wish you all well. We want to move in a positive direction, and come and visit Buena Park. You're welcome here.
Thank you.